How's everybody doing? If anything, if anything is a beautiful thing, this could be you. I'm always gonna call this time. Pull for me, cause I know I'm winning. Cause I don't wanna promise as one does. I will protect you at all costs. Keep you safe here in my arms. That's good. Good as sweet. Suavemente, bésame. Y quiero sentir tu labio. Bésame otra vez. Suavemente. Eso tu vida es una. Suavemente. That was good. I will find you and promises. This is a look. I don't wanna promise as one does. So I will protect you. Oops. Keep you safe here in my arms. How's everyone the afternoon? Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will protect you. Soon I'm taking a haircut and I'm gonna shave, so I'm gonna look younger pretty in a couple of days soon. For my birthday, I'm removing everything. Who's a fan? If you're a fan, I appreciate it. How you doing, Dachshund? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Mm. Mm. On April 7th, I'm doing an all-day stream. That day is my birthday as well. So, How you doing, Joseph Moose? It's 60 degrees almost. Wow. I'm good. I just need to get monetized and I'll be better. Yeah, just chilling here. I need 9 subs to get me to 400. 400 subscribers. So make sure y'all subscribe. All right, guys. Look at my laptop. It's also a look 391. That's what I have right now. Give me 1 second, guys. Give me one. Yep, what the hell? I didn't even do nothing. Well, shit. Yo. I also need the watch hours, so people gotta stay here longer as well. As good as we. Oof. Really strong weed too. Tune and see. Cause I'm finding gravity. Cause thank you, bro. Thank you for subscribing. Can see. Let's see something here. Thank you, guys. Eat more subs. Let's do this. I'm from New York. Yep, from New York, the Big Apple. Russell AI, let's see what's going on.
Hey guys, I'm your host and you're watching Wrestle AI. Let's get started. With each weekly episode, we're getting closer to WrestleMania 41, but something feels off. The latest SmackDown raised many questions about the build-up to the event. Some fans feel the build has been solid, while others think it's underwhelming. There's one major issue that really makes me feel WrestleMania 41 is in trouble. Even with John Cena's shocking heel turn, the event still doesn't feel special. A tweet by JD
I watch
from
wrestling,
NY
guys,
perfectly sums it up. He says, outside of John Cena and Cody Rhodes, this doesn't feel like WrestleMania season. WWE has gotten too big and now thinks they can put out anything and fans will still pay. I completely agree with this. Despite having some great individual storylines, WrestleMania as a whole doesn't have that big event feel this year. Many believe WWE has gotten overconfident. The ticket prices are higher than ever because they know fans will still pay. The weekly episodes feel uninspired, and the WrestleMania match card isn't as exciting as previous years. John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, amazing match. Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, feels forced. Rhea Ripley versus IYO Sky versus Bianca Belair, decent, but not WrestleMania level. Where are the big surprises, the legends? The Rock is missing, Brock Lesnar is out, and even Goldberg isn't here. WrestleMania should feel grand, but right now it just feels like another premium live event. PLE.
People are angry.
What are your thoughts on this? Do you feel like this is WrestleMania season? Tell me in the comments. Now let's talk about Solo Sikoa vs Jacob Fatu match. Initially, it seemed like WWE had dropped plans for this match, but after SmackDown, it looks like they're back on track. We saw miscommunication between Solo and Jacob, leading to a heated argument backstage.
Oh, yeah,
Jacob warned Solo that things won't end well if they continue like this. WWE is slowly building up to this match, but with so little time left before WrestleMania, can they properly develop this feud? Honestly, the Bloodline story is getting repetitive. We've seen this type of drama for years now. At this point, Jacob Fatu feels like a third-class Solo Sikoa, and Solo Sikoa feels like a third-class Roman Reigns. Harsh, but true. Here's another potential disappointment. The WrestleMania 41 stage might be even worse than last year's. The event is being held in the same stadium as SummerSlam 2023, where there was no real stage, no pyro due to stadium restrictions. Fans are worried the same thing will happen again. WWE hasn't changed the set designs for any PLEs over the last year. The entrances feel basic and repetitive, and there's no real effort to make the biggest show of the year feel different. With a smaller crowd expected this year, WWE might downgrade the stage even further to fit more people into the arena.
Guys, when I get monetized, if you want me to go to WrestleMania,
cost cutting Makes me
Send
think
me
we won't
some
get the
dinero
massive
for next week,
WrestleMania setup we
WrestleMania
used to.
42.
Lastly, let's talk about CM Punk. After SmackDown, CM Punk posted a throwback photo with Paul Heyman on Instagram, continuing to tease a possible alliance between them. On SmackDown, CM Punk played mind games with Roman Reigns, suggesting that Heyman led him into a trap. Roman's reaction showed doubt creeping in. Could we see tension between Heyman and Reigns?
Probably.
CM Punk clearly wants fans to speculate, and WWE is building up trust issues between Roman and Heyman. Will Heyman turn on Roman and side with Punk? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's all for today's update. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow wrestling fans, subscribe for the latest WWE news. I'll see you in the next video.
Let's see what. If you want me to come up with, if y'all guys wanna talk about anything else, let me know. I'm down for whatever you guys want.
The insane roller coaster of reports
as long as
for
it's
the
appropriate
Y6 is continuing. So we'll see what's new there for Alexa Bliss, Uncle Howdy, and more. Let's dive back into everything related to the Y6 and Alexa Bliss, because a lot has happened since we last discussed them. And fans are heated, angry, and just annoyed with the entire situation. After so much uncertainty with Alexa Bliss and the Y6, when Alexa's contract negotiations were going on, all worries appear to be put on rest the second Alexa returned at the Royal Rumble, and Y6 related teasers were getting aired every week on SmackDown. But following Elimination Chamber, Alexa Bliss has gone missing. The Y6 teasers stopped, and Alexa Bliss was just fully left at home from the overseas WWE tour, causing fans to pretty much go right back to where we were at in early January, of just being absolutely confused, lost, and having no idea when we'll see Alexa and the Wyatts again. Fans were already in full panic mode after Alexa stayed home from the tour, but to make matters even worse, fans noticed that Alexa Bliss herself was no longer being advertised for the WWE World event that was taking place during WrestleMania week. The company previously advertised Alexa Bliss's meet and greet for WWE World in weeks past, but that was suddenly pulled without much of an announcement. The confirmation finally
How you
came
doing?
when a fan asked the host of WWE World, which is Fanatics, if
Garnett,
Alexa Bliss was still appearing at WWE World or not. And it was Fanatics that broke the news that Alexa Bliss will no longer be appearing in any way at WWE World. So that added even more fuel to the fan frustration around this situation. And then, no less than 24 hours after that news broke, there was another bombshell that was dropped about Alexa's
7 more
status.
subscribers
Reports started
to get
coming out
400.
from Fightful and WrestleVotes that they were hearing that yes, all WrestleMania weekend events for Alexa Bliss have been pulled. And they said that Alexa's rumored role at WrestleMania 41 itself was now up in the air. Throughout the entire absence over the last few weeks, the light at the end of the tunnel.
You all got 14 people. Wow, I'm surprised.
Allegedly had a big role for Alexa and the Y6 to be played at WrestleMania 41 itself. But fast forward to these latest reports, and it's sounding like they're starting to backstep on that report of Alexa having a role at WrestleMania 41. So no one knows what's going on.
They cut in half.
Fans of Alexa and the Wyatts are extremely frustrated, and understandably so. Everyone thought we wouldn't have to deal with these uncertainties anymore once Alexa returned.
Let's get me above 400 subscribers.
That's not the case. It sort of feels like Alexa's return run over the last few months was a fever dream, was something we all imagined. It sort of feels like it never happened because we're now right back to once again wondering when we'll see her again. The topic of Alexa's status was a very viral topic of discussion online in recent days. So much so that Alexa herself jumped in on the conversation. Alexa Bliss took to her social media platforms to post a GIF that included the line of dialogue reading, "I'm fine, okay? I'm great." Alexa Bliss did not add any caption to that post or expand on it further. The fans understood that GIF as Alexa responding to the absolute state of panic amongst her fan base and all these recent reports that have been going around about her WrestleMania plans getting canceled. Alexa noted that she's fine and great, and that there's nothing to worry about. Some fans were wondering if there's any sort of underlining sarcasm in that GIF. Is Alexa saying that in tongue-in-cheek sort of way? Or does she simply truly mean that everything's okay? It's hard to tell because all Alexa dropped in regards to this entire situation was that one GIF and nothing else. The jam-packed day just kept going because later on in that same night, the Wide 6 Twitter account broke their silence with a new teaser themselves. The Wide social media page was absolutely silent ever since their last post on February 14th. So this new post by them ended a 5-week social media hiatus for the faction. Maybe it was a real deflating feeling in the community that motivated the Wide 6 to drop some sort of new teaser as a sign of hope and something for everyone to talk about. The Wide 6 tweeted out this message with her new post, quote, "In time you shall see, you shall behold, stand in awe, we see you, remember who you are, remember what you know," end quote. The Wide 6 also added 2 biblical verses to their teaser that was in regard to there being a certain season and time for every purpose, and how at the proper time they will reap a harvest if they do not give up. So a pretty loaded teaser there, and looks like it could be aimed at Alexa Bliss's character and the fans. When Howdy is talking about remembering who you are, or remembering what you know, that definitely seemed like words directed at Alexa Bliss. This dates back to 2022 when Howdy was trying to get Alexa to remember her past and everything she learned and accomplished by Bray Wyatt's side. And it looks like now, 3 years later, Howdy's still trying to get that message across to Alexa Bliss. He probably sees the Fiend's tributes all over her attire and knows that he's just got to give Alexa that final little push, a reminder to fully embrace her Wyatt side again, which he most definitely knows is still inside of her. So all that talk about remembering the past looks like it's all intended for Alexa Bliss. He wants her to remember everything that happened between Bray, the Fiend, and himself. And like we've been saying here on Wrestling World CC for the longest time, Alexa Bliss is such a valuable character to Uncle Howdy in the Wyatt universe. Arguably the most valuable. You can argue that no one truly ever got so close to the Fiend the way that Alexa Bliss did.
Exactly.
So Alexa's
Wow,
character
16
probably
people.
has all
Thank
this
you.
intel and information
I appreciate
about
it.
the world of Bray Wyatt that would absolutely be of value to Uncle Howdy. Howdy was close to Bray Wyatt, but maybe Alexa knows things that even Howdy does not know. And that's why he's stuck on trying to get her to remember the past and join them. When it comes to Howdy's comments about time and waiting for the right opportunity, that definitely seems like Howdy is speaking more to the fans. Just give them little notes that whatever they're up to takes time and to be patient with them. Howdy did this last year as well when fans were getting impatient for the arrival of the Wyatt
Who is
Six.
people's favorite
Howdy
current
sent a
favorite
message
wrestler
out to
right now?
everyone that it was almost time and to be
Male.
patient with them. So this teaser
Male
right here
or-
looks like it was
or
tackling
female.
the idea of trying to calm
Mine's
fans
Alexa
down
Bliss
with
and Liv
And
Morgan.
it was also trying to use to communicate with Alexa's character. There's still a lot of fans that are fed up with the endless Wyatt 6 teasers with nothing ever coming from them. And this is a perspective we can definitely understand. The Wyatts have been teasing a return since January, and
Wow.
we're about to be in April right now without a single appearance from them.
Yeah, it is.
So if you're
almost
tuning the
April.
Wyatts out and you're sick of the endless teasers, it's reasonable. We have most definitely been teased enough. As far as the next appearance for Alexa and the Wyatt 6 goes, there's no official word at all about when we'll be seeing them again. We're going to stick to our original assumption and say that we won't really see a full
Don't forget to
Alexa
like
Wyatt
and
storyline
subscribe.
until after WrestleMania.
I need 7
There's
you.
only a few weeks
Let's
left
make
to
it 8.
WrestleMania, and this is the
Up-
pivotal part of the
I need
year
8
where
of you
every
to
single minute
subscribe
of WWE
so I can
television
go above
needs to be
400
devoted to
subscribers.
build-ups for WrestleMania programs. There's no real time for filler segments or any time to start new stories at this moment.
So
So that's why common sense tells us that Alexa Bliss and the Wyatts won't truly begin their new journey
Guess
until
a lot of
after
people like
WrestleMania
WWE
season concludes,
or
and there's some
wrestling in
sort of
general.
downtime for new stories. Their return together would make a nice surprise on the SmackDown after WrestleMania. The Raw and SmackDown episodes immediately after WrestleMania are notorious for big surprises and kicking off new programs.
That is
So
true.
hopefully that's a spot for their big return that the company could consider. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below.
Today's stories are very interesting. Let's see what happens tonight on NXT. So,
Welcome back.
Watch
If you
this
typically
applause.
hop on a bus or train to get from point A to point B, this may make the process a little easier and cheaper. News 12's Marissa Santorelli has more on the push to move from Metro cards to Omni cards and how you can save on fares. Out with the old,
In with the new.
in with the new, the Omni Card, a tap and go approach to make your commute easier and for certain New Yorkers, cheaper. The reduced fare program, allowing those older than 65 or any person with a qualified disability to tap for half-price rides on both MTA buses and subways. And that's not all. For those with the letters RF on the back of their card, you'll get free transfers and automatically earn free rides. After 12 taps of your card in a 7-day period, rides for the rest of the week are free. If you didn't receive one in the mail, you can apply in person at any of these service centers or by mail. But the question is, are New Yorkers ready to say goodbye to the Metro card? Well, the MTA says 55% of reduced fare customers are already on board. And it's all in the palm of your hand. So here's how to register. Go to the website, fill out your information,
They still haven't
and click
come up with
finish
an app,
to create
huh?
an account. Once you link your card, you're ready to tap and go. The transition is only beginning, so reduced fare riders who take Beeline or nice buses, hold on to your Metro card a little longer until Omni is available. For more information, go to our website, news12.com, and click on numbers and links.
I'm still here, guys. No way.
WWE introduced a mini mystery storyline this week, so we'll take a look at the guesses surrounding that story. We'll also check out what's being said about The Rock, John Cena, and more. Starting things off with this entire mystery behind Chad Gable's
Trust me, if I had the money, I would buy
and its
belts and all that
potential
stuff for
connections to what's
WWE.
happening with the Judgment Day. So after being gone for several weeks on this mission to meet this mysterious individual that Dominic Mysterio set him up to speak with, Chad Gable finally met this man. There was a lot of big theories for who Dominic set Chad to meet up with, but in this segment, the individual is not anyone that the fans were previously discussing. After visiting a pretty shady area, Chad Gable goes down an alleyway to meet this mysterious elderly man who claims to be the individual that was waiting to meet Chad Gable. This elderly man told Chad Gable that he cannot fight what he cannot understand. So in order to fight it, he must understand it and first become Lucha himself.
Interesting.
The mysterious man hands over a beat-down cardboard box to Chad Gable, but demands payment first.
Payment.
So Gable hands over just around $500 to buy this beaten-down box from this older, mysterious gentleman. Chad Gable opened the box, and right as he pulled something out of it, the screen cuts to black. Chad Gable would end up taking to his social media platform to share a photo of himself in his ring gear with the box in his hand. But his head itself was not visible in the photo. Gable also captioned the photo by saying, "See you soon," but wrote the message out in strictly Spanish. So with all the talk becoming Lucha,
Oh yeah, I remember
using
this.
Spanish language and leaving his head cropped out on new photos, the number one fan guess right now for what was in the box most definitely is a Lucha Libre wrestling mask. It's either one single mask for Chad Gable himself, maybe it's a mask for the entirety of his American-made faction. The mysterious man did force Chad Gable to pay several $100s for the context of the box.
That's a lot of money.
So maybe that cost was so high because there was multiple masks in there, or Chad Gable was simply
Yay!
part about this story.
6 more subscribers to
This is the
400.
man that Dominic Mysterio sent Chad Gable.
Thank you, I
out with.
appreciate
Why
it.
did Dominic have some random elderly man's number that hangs out at the side of a
7 to
grocery
go to
store?
past
Definitely is
400.
a bit silly. Fans thought that Dominic was setting Chad Gable up with a legitimate Lucha Libre wrestler. But, at least for the time being, that wasn't it. But Chad Gable seems to be very excited and happy about his purchase of the cardboard box. So all is well there. Fans are expecting Chad Gable to head back to Raw sometime soon here in the near future and make the grand reveal of what's in the box live on Raw. This entire situation with Chad Gable also somewhat connects over with the events of what's happening in the Judgment Day. When Dominic was setting Chad Gable up with meeting this individual, a lot of fans were thinking this was a secret way of Dominic trying to get his new member over to WWE and to the Judgment Day itself. But after the reveal that it was this mysterious person that Chad Gable met with, that theory has now been put on pause for a bit. But WWE is still continuing to immensely tease the idea that a big new Judgment Day member is still on the way. For several weeks in a row, Dominic and Finn have had many arguments.
Please don't leave, guys. Please stay.
About where the group stands right now for when it comes to new members. Finn Balor has been extremely strict on his standpoint. No new members at all. No exceptions. Dominic Mysterio has been the complete
I want to be a member.
Opposite. At every opportunity he gets, Dominic is heavily pushing the idea that the Judgment Day desperately needs a new member. Like when the group had a pretty big failed attack on Braun Breaker, Dominic Mysterio argued to Finn Balor that only if they had an
Yo, thank you guys, I love you.
Breaker. So you got these two very opposite standpoints that are colliding with each other every single week.
5 more subs, 6 surpassed 401. Yo, guys, you got the best subscribers on the planet.
To his removal from the group. Remember that the Judgment Day prides themselves on having no leader. However, we know that Finn's character initially views himself as being the group's leader. So he's saying no to the idea of bringing in a new member. But if the rest of the group says yes, you would assume that the new member will be welcomed in because majority rules. Plus, Finn is not the official shot caller, no matter how much he thinks he is. So Finn's basically
I'll be the shot caller, niggas.
Out of the Judgment Day at this moment.
Oh, excuse my bad. I'll be those.
We're at last summer, where you can just feel the exit from the Judgment Day is most definitely nearby. Not to mention that Finn Balor is still pretty cruel to his fellow Judgment Day members. While they're all huddled up talking, he's spaced out, sitting with himself. And when he does finally join the huddle, he does it by taking shots at the members. Like with Liv Morgan, Finn mocking Liv for losing in the Elimination Chamber. So Finn's standpoints are not matching with the rest of the group. And his relationship with almost every member is pretty bumpy at the moment.
5 more subs to 400.
Could be seen in the background of a recent Raw segment.
Road 500 subs, guys. I love you so much.
Return sometime soon. The Demon has not been seen at all in any way since WrestleMania 39 in 2023. Although it may be
I love my subscribers. 5 more subs to 400.
Locker room for several months now. So it's not exactly fresh, a brand new Demon Finn Balor teaser. But who knows? Maybe it still holds some significance for seeing the Demon in the future. So, predictions for where this story's headed to next. It definitely seems like Dominic will win this struggle, and a new member will ultimately be introduced. But the big question there is, of course, the question of, who will Dominic Mysterio actually bring in? There's a lot of speculation around a lot of big names. Aleister Black remains as the biggest shocking addition to the group. That would be a huge surprise.
Oh yeah, Aleister Black's supposed to come back to the
like Karrion Kross and Bronson Reed are being thrown around by the fans. Some fans are wondering if Chad Gable could be the secretive new member that Dominic wants to bring in.
Maybe.
It was Dominic who orchestrated everything that Chad Gable is currently going through with his Lucha Libre transition that he's in the middle of. So is that all part of Dominic's plan to convince Chad Gable to come join the group? Remember that right before Dominic gave Gable the man's number, Dom did remind Gable that he owes him for this. So if Chad's entire Lucha experience goes well, Dominic has something that he wants Chad Gable to do for him. Either way, the new member is on the way. Let's discuss the fun possibility that
just watching WWE right stuff.
Now, and this involves The Rock and John Cena. For the first time becoming the entire face of the company and industry, John Cena is a heel and has aligned himself with The Rock. It makes sense because Cena knows his time is running out and he's becoming obsessed with the idea of winning his 17th world title. But what happens if he doesn't win at WrestleMania? Fans are curious to see if The Rock and John Cena will end up having a massive fallout with each other that could even lead towards one final match between the two of them. John Cena and The Rock met at WrestleMania in back-to-back years in 2012 and 2013. And those series of matches ended in a tie, with each man holding one win over the other. The fans are wondering if we could see that rubber match between The Rock and John Cena 12 years later.
5 more subs. 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 I need 5 more subscribers for 400.
That their last match took place at during WrestleMania 29. So it would be an insane full circle moment if their third match together takes place in the same stadium that they met at before. And who knows who breaks the tie and walks out on top between those two legends. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to...
The story is pretty interesting.
See some positive news for everything related to the Wide Six. So we'll see what's being said there. We'll also see what's being revealed by Bianca Belair, Jey Uso, and more. Starting things off with Jey Uso versus Gunther at WrestleMania 41.
This will be interesting.
This is the main event matchup for the Raw brand at WrestleMania. But the hot topic of discussion in recent weeks amongst the fans was if Jey versus Gunther truly deserves the Night 1 headlining spot or not. Triple H was the one that really blew the lid off the conversation when he admitted that at the press conference that the Night 1 main event spot is pretty much up for grabs for whichever story is the hottest and gets the most momentum heading into
Thank you
WrestleMania
guys
41.
for subscribing and
As the
liking.
weeks build up continue to go by, fans have been discussing that Roman, Punk, and Rollins may have no titles up for grabs, but a lot of fans think that program is still much hotter with the momentum right now than the Gunther versus Jey Uso program. So, if there's any match for the entire card that has the best odds of stealing the main event spot from Jey and Gunther,
Trust
it
me.
surely looks like the men's triple threat match is that top contender. Well, Jey Uso recently sat down with the Daily Mail, and he acknowledged that idea of losing the main event spot and his thoughts about the entire situation. Jey had this to say about the main event spot at WrestleMania.
I want to get both
41.
WWE titles, the world and the WWE one, the one that's out now,
Whichever
the
match I'm
replica.
on. I don't care
That's
if
about
I'm on
$1,000.
last. I don't care
Somebody
if I
wants
open
to-
it up. I'm going to
somebody
go
wants
out
to
there
donate
and they're going to
1,000.
remember my
I get
match.
both.
So that's all I'm focused on. This is a once-in-a-lifetime shot. That's how I'm looking at it. Because this might not ever, ever come back around in my career. End quote. So that's the Jey's outlook on the situation. He's not too stressed about the positioning of the match. He just looks at it as a blessing to be competing for a world title on the WrestleMania stage. So, first match of the night, middle of the card, or the closer, Jey is just happy to be there and views it as potentially a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. As far as the main event spot goes, everyone knows Jey Uso versus Gunther has an absolute 0% chance of headlining Night 2 of WrestleMania 41. That Night 2 is absolutely going to Cody Rhodes versus John Cena, without a single doubt in anyone's mind. So the Night 2 spot is completely scratched out and off the board in this conversation. It's the Night 1 headlining spot that has the most wiggle room to be switched up and feature a different match outside of Jey
Oh,
and
sorry guys,
Gunther.
I'm high. Like that.
Judging by what Triple H said and judging by the potential Night 1 WrestleMania main event solely based off story momentum, this would be the rankings. Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins in the number 1 spot. Again, no
5
title
more
on the line,
subs.
but it's a
5
match
more
with a long
subs.
history
5
and deep
more
storytelling
subs.
that also has other dynamics featured inside of it, such as Paul Heyman's relationship with both Punk and Roman. So that match feels rich for its story. It feels like it's the biggest match to take that Night of 1 main event spot. Second place in the rankings would be Jey Uso versus Gunther. It features a world title, features the Royal Rumble winner. You gotta give it that respect, even though the story has not been that rich or deep. And then in third place for the Night 1 spot, you could put either of the women's world title matches, Tiffany versus Charlotte, or the women's world triple threat between Io, Rhea, and Bianca. So in terms of momentum right now for that Night 1 spot, that's the momentum rankings at the moment. There's still several weeks left before WrestleMania, so those rankings could continue to fluctuate if certain stories get hotter than others in the coming weeks. We spoke earlier in the week here on Wrestling World CC about Bianca Belair crashing out on the fans that were still suspicious of her playing a role in the Jade Cargill attack. Bianca had a full rant across her social media platforms, just calling out all those fans for their accusations and calling all their evidence to be fake and all make-believe. But Bianca Belair also crashed out online recently during a battle of words with Rhea Ripley that picked up right where they left off at on Raw. Bianca said that she's going
Thank
through
you guys.
a lot of
That's
rough things
here. I
at the moment with
appreciate
Jade
it.
Cargill and Naomi.
You are the best
Told Rhea Ripley that she
subscriber.
was childish to throw that in her face like that. And Bianca calling Rhea childish is interesting because you know who else called Rhea childish in recent memory? It was Charlotte Flair. So by Bianca also calling Rhea Ripley childish, Bianca is basically co-signing with something that a big heel said. Is this a little sign that Bianca's mindset is slowly converting to a heel one? That may be a reach, but it's just interesting to note that the only other person to call Rhea childish lately just happen to be a big heel themselves. Bianca says she keeps getting herself caught up in her emotions, and it keeps landing her in these difficult situations. Bianca noted to Rhea that she's just trying to mind her own business, but it's like if everyone wants Bianca to crash out. Rhea Ripley says Bianca would have been minding her own business if she stayed in the backstage area during Rhea and Io's title match and didn't get in between it.
Yeah, I remember
Bianca
that.
ended the argument with Rhea by saying that Rhea did not win the chamber, nor was she the champion right now. So Bianca said she had no reason why she was even talking to Rhea at the moment. So out of the three women in this triple threat
Thank
match,
you,
who's the
everyone
most
that
intriguing
supports
character
my
at the moment?
channel.
We got to give the edge to Bianca Belair because this is a character that's literally going through a lot at the moment.
I'm
And like she
thinking
continues
of
to tease and hint at, it really
like
does seem like she's one bad moment away
have
from
bit of the
absolutely
like
crashing out and
once
just losing her mind. You have the situation she's going through with her best friends, Naomi and Jade, going to battle with each other so brutally right now before
like
her
I'm a
eyes.
custom made
All that
YouTube
hurt and
trophy
betrayal from the
for
both of
when I get
them that she's
monetized.
still trying to
Like
comprehend even
whoever
till this
donates
day.
the
Then
most
you got
get
Bianca's
that
battle with
trophy
the fans,
the whole
and
year.
all these people pointing fingers at her for what happened between Jade and Naomi, and
It'll
all
be
this
number
suspicion
one
towards
YouTube
Bianca's name, which is also stressing her
donor.
out. Now you've got Rhea and Io also getting under Bianca's skin and irking her with all that childish drama, as she labels it. So you look at the world surrounding
Probably not that
Bianca's
expensive.
character, and you can see that she's overloaded. It's so much pressure. There's just too much happening there right now. Anyone would basically fold under the pressure and circumstances that Bianca's under right now. And then you have Bianca constantly posting what appears to be these cries for help. She has said now multiple times over the last few weeks that she feels like everyone is manipulating her, that people are purposely trying to make her go crazy and just lose it. So Bianca's acknowledged that several times over the last few days. But the big question here that remains to be seen is if Bianca will give in to those urges. She has that darkness, that evilness inside her that's ready to come to surface. But will she use it? Will she just snap on both Naomi and Jade and attack the two of them? Will she snap on both Rhea and Io? Bianca views Rhea and Io as close friends as well, but maybe she learned from the Jade and Naomi situation that she shouldn't exactly be trusting any friends.
I'm still here, guys.
But maybe Bianca strikes first on Rhea and Io and turns it up a notch on both of them to really lock it in for WrestleMania 41. And in terms of big updates for Alexa Bliss and the Wyatt Six, their status for the next few SmackDowns that take place overseas still remains questionable and up in the air. But according to a new report from WrestleVotes, they may continue to be missing from television during the road to WrestleMania.
That
But they
fucking
claim that
sucks.
Alexa Bliss and Wyatt Six are set for a big segment and moment at WrestleMania 41
Oh, that's be
that will
interesting.
reportedly give the big twisted reveal of what Alexa and the Wyatts have been up to all along. So things may continue to stay quiet there for this story on SmackDown over the next few weeks. But Wyatt and Alexa fans shouldn't worry, because a big returning moment is now being rumored for the WrestleMania stage. No better stage to return at than WrestleMania itself. So hopefully that report is true. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all
Yeah,
notifications
look,
on.
don't forget to
Leave a
subscribe
like if
like
you
the guy
enjoyed.
says.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Oil change.
Alexa Bliss has finally responded to Uncle Howdy in a pretty aggressive way. So we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out a big change in secret that Alexa just confirmed to be in place.
What's in place?
The Wyatt Six have not graced WWE television themselves since the middle of December.
Wow.
There's been a lot of conflicting reports about their disappearance. Some reports claim that it was due to creative issues. Some claim that it was due to Bo Dallas's injury. Others claim that the Wyatts were put on temporary back burner while the Alexa Bliss contract situation was being worked out. So no one really knows which of those explanations was the truth. But one thing that has become clear in recent weeks is that the Wyatt Six story has begun progressing again through the use of Alexa Bliss and her recent appearances since she
Thank
returned.
you,
On Alexa's
guys.
first night back on SmackDown right after the Royal Rumble, WWE wasted no time at all teasing her affiliation with the Wyatts. A glitch screen popped up during Alexa's first singles match back, and the official Wyatt 6 social media pages posted a message containing just the word she. And that she post was significant because it served as the confirmation that the she Howdy was talking to all
Alexa Bliss is a great actress.
In fact, Alexa Bliss after all.
And wrestler.
So that was a cool little reveal to kick the story off. And then the week after that, we saw another glitch screen interrupt Alexa's SmackDown segment, with this screen asking the question of, do you feel in charge? Which was obviously directed towards Alexa Bliss. Now we get
yes,
to the
I'm in charge
edition of SmackDown, and Alexa Bliss has finally addressed the Wyatt's messages that have been chasing her in recent weeks. But she basically answered them in a little hidden way that you really had to be paying close attention to in order to catch it. So let's get into that. This all went down with Alexa's vignette for the Elimination Chamber match. She opens it up right away with a pretty heavy teaser about her new character. Alexa Bliss says that while she was away, there was a lot of change that happened within her. This one line obviously appears to be hinting that Alexa's changed a lot since we've last seen her, and we haven't seen those changes quite yet.
My birthday's in 13 days, guys.
At the Royal Rumble, her SmackDown match against Candice, and a few backstage segments. So even though we've seen Alexa several times over the last few weeks, we've seen absolutely no signs of these big changes she's referring to. So it looks like what we've seen so far from Alexa Bliss since her return is by far not the final version of this new character and persona. Alexa's definitely hiding something up her sleeve, something that she hasn't revealed quite yet, but you better believe that the reveal is on the way. Alexa wants to make it clear that her current state is nothing like what it was 2 years ago. So that's an exciting line. It makes you really anticipate seeing even more character time for Alexa Bliss on screen. So we can start seeing bits and pieces of these major changes within herself that she's referring to. What could this big change be that Alexa's teasing? Well, we don't have a lot of clues to base any theory off of at the moment. The only clue about what's happening with Alexa Bliss would be from her attire itself. It's very heavily themed with the Fiend's colors of black and red. She even had a patch of the Fiend's pants on her skirt. And she flat out has the word Fiend on the back of her jacket that she's wearing all the time now. So as far as an early theory goes for Alexa's big secret and change, could it be potentially something Fiend related? Could she be the female Fiend? Does she have that aura and spirit running through her? Is she trying to contain that alter ego right now, the same way Bray tried to contain it until he couldn't anymore? It's something that the fans are considering since Alexa's attire is overflowing with so many Fiend references and Easter eggs. A big fan concern about this theory and direction is if it would be respectful to Bray Wyatt and his creation of the Fiend character. And it does seem like something Bray would be supportive of, and we say that because of the situation that went down in 2021. After Bray Wyatt was released from WWE, and the company had basically turned over the Fiend gimmick and character to Alexa Bliss through the use of the Lily doll, Alexa noted that Bray had no issue with the Lily doll acting as being similar to his act. Alexa said that Bray's exact words to her back in 2021 after the release was for her to keep it going, keep the story and act going, and not worrying about anything anyone was saying about the similar acts. So knowing that Bray was very supportive of the Alexa split personality act back then, you got to assume that an act
Wyatt was a good
legacy
man.
life's work would be a very nice, acceptable thing as well. So Alexa is heavily dressed in Fiend attire. We just haven't seen her fully snap yet.
Rest in peace.
So is that what she's hiding? Has she been infected with the Fiend persona? We know that Alexa's always been close to the Fiend since 2020. She quite literally revived the Fiend all by herself following the events of the Inferno match with Randy Orton. So when it comes to being close to the Fiend and that energy, you can argue that no one was closer to it than Alexa Bliss. So if she has some Fiend-inspired character trait, it does make sense for that to be the case within the story. But Alexa continues that the WWE itself has not changed much since she's been last around. She says that the names and faces have changed a bit, but all the other dynamics remain the same. Alexa Bliss says she's going to turn the Elimination Chamber into her own playground, which was a clever reference to the Alexa's Playground program, which was like Alexa's version of the Firefly Funhouse. Alexa brings up her past success in the Elimination Chamber and how she did win the entire thing just a few years ago. Alexa says this is her division, And the next quick line is what appears to be the response to all the recent Wyatt 6 glitch screens. Alexa Bliss says, quote, "I am in charge," end quote. Which perfectly answers Howdy's question from the week prior, which was asking Alexa if she truly felt in charge. Alexa lets Howdy know right here during this vignette that yes, she absolutely knows she's in charge. Alexa goes from a very serious tone and face when she delivered that line about being in charge, all the way to breaking into giggles and saying, "See you soon." So it was only a minute long, but so much to break down here with Alexa's character and story. The first thing to note is obviously the big change that she mentioned going through. We haven't seen much of that change yet, but we can surely expect to see it down the line. And the second biggest thing was that the line of being in charge, which was surely a response to Howdy. In the context of what she was saying, Alexa was saying that she was in charge of the division. But in the other context of that line, responding to Howdy, it could mean other things as well. Was Alexa meaning that she was in full control and full charge of her mind and actions? Or was Alexa Bliss even asserting some of her own dominance within the Wyatt universe, telling Howdy that she's now in charge of everything involving the Wyatts, that she's now calling the shots and is in charge of the family? So you can see how that one line about being in charge from Alexa Bliss can apply to a lot of different things and meanings. And it also goes back to what we were saying here on Wrestling World CC about this relationship between Alexa and Howdy being a bit bumpy. Howdy was questioning her about feeling in charge. Now we see Alexa aggressively responding and saying that she very much is in charge. So what's going to come out of that? And how would Uncle Howdy react to Alexa Bliss potentially taking over full leadership of the Wyatt Six? Is that something he would be okay with? Either way, the next few Alexa Bliss appearances should be very exciting.
Yeah,
hopefully we do get more hints about these big changes that she teased here. But what are your thoughts on today's story? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to...
Yo, what you doing? Alexa, over there.
Alexa Bliss and the Wyatt Six appear to be on a collision course with each other, and that entire situation is unfolding with lots of new teases and information, so we'll see what's going on there. So, with the latest developments with Alexa Bliss, let's start by the February 28th edition of SmackDown to
over
see
there
for her. Alexa Bliss was not a part of the big tag team match that included a majority of the chamber participants, but Alexa did make a post-match appearance to lay out Roxanne Perez. And the broadcast was taken over by another Wyatt 6 glitch screen while Alexa was doing all that. This Wyatt screen featured not only an image of the entire Wyatt 6 group, but it also included a flashback image from Alexa Bliss days in the Firefly Funhouse. The Wyatt 6 glitch screens aren't meant to be that deep. They're just signifying the Wyatt's apparent interest in Alexa, while also highlighting key moments in Alexa's career ever since joining the Wyatt Universe umbrella. The biggest debate and theory question we've had here on Wrestling World CC was the question of what exactly does the Wyatt Six want with Alexa Bliss? We've gone over the idea that they may want a friendly reunion with Alexa Bliss. Of course, Uncle Howdy and the rest of the group are still suffering with the loss of Bray Wyatt and trying to manage with that situation. So maybe Howdy wants to just put his differences with Alexa to the side and peacefully welcome her into the family, all in the great honor and memory of Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, I gotta
but then at the
restart my
same time,
computer.
we also
That
saw
fucking
moments in
sucks.
recent weeks where it did look like Howdy and Alexa were trying to outdo each other. Howdy questioned Alexa on if she really felt like she was the one in charge. Alexa then turned around and very strongly stated that she was the one in charge. So that little indirect exchange there by...
That's annoying when your computer restarts itself. Do you feel like you're in charge? Do you really guys like this channel, or you think I'm boring? No, matter of fact, don't answer that. I am not okay. I'm never getting by. You once again. I know I go. Wow, thank you. Life. I know it goes, 'cause it all said and done. I'm not okay, 'cause I'm gonna be alright. Gonna be alright. I guess y'all don't want to hear me sing either. To see the other side. I know it goes, 'cause it's all said and done. Rest in peace. Though it goes. That's good ass weed. Is it possible to smoke an ounce a day? Wait, look, my computer restarted itself. 60 degrees almost. Yeah, if I'm playing basketball. Almost 4 o'clock. I'm playing basketball. Don't pay attention to me, guys. I'm a little ha 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 ha. Ignore. I'm back. Oops.
Chad Gable's storyline just took another big turn that has fans buzzing. So we'll see what that's about. We'll also check out what's new for Finn Balor, the Judgment Day, and more. Starting things off with the Chad Gable storyline, because this story looks like it can now be headed in many different ways. This whole journey that Chad Gable is currently on all started back in January, when he lost to Penta in Penta's debut WWE match. Chad Gable's character has always viewed himself as an expert in pro wrestling overall, but after suffering his loss to Penta, he realized that his field was weakened was Lucha Libre. He came to the realization that his knowledge on that specific genre and style of wrestling was not up to par, and he became obsessed with mastering Lucha Libre. That led to him going to Dominic Mysterio for help. Dominic giving him a mysterious contact information. Chad Gable buying that $500 box with a mask inside of it. And now bringing us to current day with the March 10th edition of Raw. During the LWO and New Day's match, a masked man rocking an American-made theme.
Oh, thank you.
To take out the LWO members. The masked man.
4 more subscribers. 5.
Same build as Chad Gable.
Yo.
Same gestures and mannerisms
4 subs.
as Chad Gable. Even
4
the same
subs
as Chad Gable.
4 subs to 400. 5 subs to pass it.
Considering all those similar things to Chad Gable, the commentary team, Kathy Kelly, and all the fans labeled the man as being Chad Gable. But that's when the twist got dropped on everyone. Kathy Kelly then confronts an unmasked version of Chad Gable backstage, following the attack, and questioned Gable for why he attacked the LWO like that earlier in the night. Chad Gable fully denied being behind the attack, and said that it's ridiculous that a fan could jump the barricade, get involved in such a great match like that. Kathy Kelly then calls out Chad Gable for literally saying that he was going to master Lucha Libre right before he left several weeks ago, and how the attacker perfectly matches everything that Chad Gable is wearing. Chad Gable continues to deny, and Kathy tells him to stop lying. And right before the masked attacker can be seen in the background, getting pulled away by security, therefore hinting and confirming Chad's claim that him and the attacker are two different people. So it's a very big twist there. Fans thought Chad Gable would simply return with the Lucha Libre mask, which he technically did, but the story is now leaning in the direction that the masked individual and Chad are two separate people. So what are the best fan theories here? Well, the first good piece of intel comes from the WWE shop page of the American-made Lucha mask, which does give a very quick synopsis of the man behind the mask. The WWE shop description of the mask had this to say, quote, "A mysterious masked man has joined American-made's ranks and is a force to be reckoned with. Show that you believe in this new luchador by grabbing this lucha mask. The American-made graphics in red, white, and blue colors give this Lucha Libre staple a fitting patriotic twist." End quote. The biggest piece of information there is clearly the first line. According to this item description, the Masked Man is officially a new member of the American-made faction. Chad Gable did not confirm any affiliation to the attacker on the March 10th edition of Raw, and did not claim him as one of his own men. Gable simply said that it must have been a fan, and he had no idea who the individual was. So maybe Chad Gable's just covering it up for the time being, for whatever reason, but will officially bring this individual into the group in the coming weeks. There are some fans out there discussing the possibility of the mask storyline being stretched out a bit, and for Penta's brother, Ray Phoenix, to eventually be behind the grand reveal of who the mysterious Lucha Libre is. There's been a lot of speculation and discussion about Phoenix joining his brother and signing with WWE, and considering the fact that this storyline all started with Gable's loss to Penta, fans are really wondering if that's the big grand reveal. That everyone assumes that Chad Gable is lying, and that he's the one behind the mask. But the twist is that Chad Gable had recruited Ray Phoenix into his faction and to be his American-made Lucha Libre star that was hidden in disguise. It's truly technically only 1 week into this mask storyline, since Chad Gable just returned, but fans are already claiming that they're getting strong Elias and Ezekiel vibes from this story so far. It's looking like Chad Gable will obviously be the one behind the mask, but Chad Gable will deny it at all times and call everyone crazy for thinking it's him. And then eventually, maybe they do a big reveal and show that it was, in fact, Chad Gable under the mask. Or do something again like they did on the March 10th and have Chad Gable and the masked individual in the same room at the same time. So it's definitely a little bit of a silly storyline, but Chad Gable is incredible and can make anything work and keep you glued to your screen. So he should definitely keep the story feeling alive. You also have that mystery dynamic sprinkled into the story now of who's really under the mask. So that entire question should keep fans' interest and theories going for a while. So be on the lookout for this story, because it certainly feels like more
Thank you guys.
Away for the new American-made.
Thank you for joining us in this blessed
For weeks now, tension has been rising and rising within the Judgment Day, and it's basically been Finn on an island by himself against the rest of the group. JD McDonough was Finn's guy, someone who would always see things through Finn's perspective. But with JD gone, Finn is pretty isolated, with no one truly on his side within the group. This week, Raw saw Dominic Mysterio tell Finn Balor that he got him an Intercontinental title match against Braun Breaker for next week's Raw. Finn instantly dropped the hostile act against Dominic and gave Dominic a big hug, which Dominic did make a little face about while Finn was hugging him, but went right back into smiling at Finn once the hug was released. So this segment once again shows Dominic Mysterio being the one to really be the one making big moves for the Judgment Day. And it's been like this for a few weeks now. Dominic has been the one truly getting things done. He helped Liv and Raquel get the tag team titles. He got this title match for Finn. Dominic really got that motion going right now. And considering that Dominic is putting all this together with all these big moves, that's also leading fans to believe that Dominic's secret plan and agenda is still in place. On the surface, Dominic seems like a nice friend for getting Finn that title match,
but knowing who Dominic is and that little smirk he did during that hug, there is definitely something going on here that we, the audience, and even Finn Balor know nothing about. The Judgment Day could be setting Finn Balor up for another failure by not going out to the ring to assist him with Braun Breaker and letting him handle things all by himself in a clean loss. Or you got some fans that are feeling like another Judgment Day screw job could be happening in this title match. Just a big moment of the Judgment Day officially kicking Finn Balor out. And who knows, maybe Dominic Mysterio wastes no time and instantly brings out his new recruited Judgment Day member that he's been hinting at for weeks now. So regardless of what happens next week during this title match, either way, whatever happens is going to push the narrative forward between Finn Balor and the Judgment Day in a major way. Dominic is up to something big. Even Liv Morgan seems a bit left out of Dominic's true intentions. So Dominic's going to surprise even the Judgment Day with whatever he's up to. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on.
Do what the guy said,
Leave a like
subscribe.
if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yo, I got 11 subscribers now on. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Liv Morgan just posted something that fans are understanding in a few different ways. So we'll see what that's about. We'll also see what's new for Dominic, Jey Uso, and more. Starting things off with Liv Morgan and her post that started up a pretty interesting conversation. Shortly after Rhea Ripley crashed the WrestleMania 41 contract signing between Bianca Belair and Io Sky and forcefully signed her own name on the contract, Liv took to her social media platforms to take this opportunity to brag about how right she was about Rhea Ripley being wrong. Liv posted the following message to her platform, quote, "She want to be included so bad," end quote. This line was definitely intended for Rhea Ripley. Liv Morgan took the opportunity of seeing Rhea's recent actions and used it to shine light on how she was right about who Rhea Ripley truly has been all along. But here's where the crazy fan theory comes into play. Liv Morgan is also rumored to be feuding with another she real soon, and that's Alexa Bliss.
I remember.
Uncle Howdy and the Wide Six have yet to call Alexa Bliss by her name since she returned, but they've only referred to her as she in a tweet. And in that old letter that Howdy sent out last year, the fans are wondering if this use of she could have a double meaning of originally being intended for Rhea Ripley. Sure, but strangely enough, it could even work for Alexa Bliss as well. Alexa's been labeled as she by Uncle Howdy. That is the unofficial little nickname for Alexa at the moment. So fans are just putting together a little theory there, wondering if Alexa Bliss is who Liv Morgan was actually talking to. And it didn't stop there. That's when a fan told Liv Morgan that Nikki Cross was calling her name. Liv replied to the fan, saying that she's going to beat Nikki Cross, just like how she did Rhea Ripley. So Liv directly acknowledging the idea of Nikki Cross coming for the tag team titles. And obviously, it will be Alexa Bliss who will be Nikki's tag team partner. Maybe Liv Morgan put all that together in her head. Maybe Liv knows Alexa Bliss will be there as well. But Liv does not seem worried one bit. She fully expects to take down this new looming threat of Alexa and Nikki's big reunion. Alexa Bliss and the Wide Six have been gone missing once again in recent weeks. The fans are still holding on to hope of seeing Alexa and Nikki versus Raquel and Liv real soon, because it does make sense. WWE has been planting seeds for Alexa and Liv to cross paths again ever since January. Liv eliminated Alexa from both the Royal Rumble and the Elimination Chamber. Getting eliminated by someone in those big matches is usually how WWE likes to kick off certain feuds and programs.
What happened to
So that's why fans are sticking to the idea that Liv's multiple eliminations over Alexa was not pointless coincidence. Fans feel like surely WWE is something major in the works for Alexa and Liv, and that's why they crossed paths so much in recent months. And that's why they had Liv eliminate Alexa multiple times, because it's going to lead towards Alexa Bliss getting heated and coming to take everything away from Liv Morgan. Yes, technically Liv and Alexa are on separate brands, but remember that the women's tag team champions work all shows and basically have a free pass to feud with anyone from any brand. So as long as Liv and Raquel have the titles, then the feud with Alexa Bliss is still a big possibility. A feud between Alexa and Liv is pretty exciting because there most definitely could be multiple layers to it.
Yep,
It can simply be a singles match between Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan.
It could be a tag team match between Alexa and Nikki versus Liv and Raquel, or it could be an all-out faction versus faction brawl between the entire Judgment Day versus the entire Wyatt Six. So there's definitely a lot of elements there to really deepen and expand on this feud between Liv and Alexa. When will a feud actually kick off? Well, that's
After
definitely the $1 million
WrestleMania.
question here. Liv and Raquel aren't actually feuding with any team at the current moment, but technically the door is open for Alexa and Nikki. But WWE is still overseas for the next few weeks, and both Alexa and Nikki are at home and not part of that tour at the moment. So the idea of Alexa and Nikki confronting Liv and Raquel is basically impossible, at least for the next 2 weeks. The
What's
next
my
time
lighter?
WWE has a show in the States will be in early April, with only a few weeks left before WrestleMania at that time. So does WWE quickly put that Alexa and Nikki versus Liv and Raquel match together for WrestleMania at the last second? Or will they hold on to that feud until immediately after WrestleMania season? That's what everyone's trying to figure out. The only recent word about Alexa and the Wyatts has been that they've allegedly set some type of big role at WrestleMania 41. But the report did not go into much detail in regards to the match, or simply just an appearance. So Alexa and the Wyatt Six may be out of sight right now, but there's still a lot of hope and excitement for them regarding this potential feud with Liv and Raquel, and this apparent WrestleMania 41 role that's in store for them. So we'll have to wait and see if Alexa and Nikki can get their hands on the tag team titles again, for the first time in nearly 5 years.
That was a long time, 5 years.
Jey Uso recently took on Austin Theory in a Raw match that lasted all of 60 seconds and did not allow Austin Theory to get any offense in at all. This created a lot of backlash from the fans online who were all disappointed to see Austin Theory treated and handled in that fashion. According to reports,
Austin Theory sucks anyways, so...
versus Austin Theory to go over in just 10 minutes. So no one knows what changed there that basically caused this full match to be cut. But fans speculate that maybe it was John Cena's promo segment running a bit over time, but that's not confirmed. But either way, the Jey Uso and
lighter right here with a dumbass.
with fans. So this Austin Theory squash match.
Do you love me? Do you love?
To a better place. If anything, it only got fans a bit more upset with the entire situation. But like many have pointed out, it appears that only fans online have an issue with the Jey and Gunther feud. Live crowds and live fans in the building are still strongly behind Jey Uso. So all this backlash appears to be strictly an online thing at the moment. But overall, it seems like everyone is a bit disappointed with the build-up for Jey versus Gunther up until this point.
Yo.
No one really believes in him, and Gunther saying Jey has no shot. That's their entire story. Every week it's just Jey facing a random opponent, while Gunther jumps in towards the end of the match. There hasn't been any real face-to-face deep promo battles in a long time. No engagements outside
My birthday's in
matches.
13 days.
That fans are discussing and bringing in.
Oops, I did it again.
That will kick into an overdrive here in the coming weeks.
I gotta go use the bathroom. I'll be back in a second.
Understood as his response to the fan backlash from the Austin Theory squash match. Jey took to his Instagram story to say, "Crash out, Jey, Lord help me." So again, we'll have to see how this story shifts up here in the coming weeks. The March 17th edition of Raw once again featured heavy teases for Dominic Mysterio's new addition to the Judgment Day. Dominic came clean to Finn Balor that he offered a spot in the Judgment Day to Penta. Dom is unsure if Penta will accept the spot, but that he really feels like the Judgment Day needs more muscle, especially with JD McDonough being out of action. Finn Balor has been against the idea of bringing in new members from the start, so he lashed out at Dominic's suggestion and called him a snake for that. But that didn't stop Dominic. Dominic was then seen speaking to Karrion Kross in the background of a backstage Raw segment. We couldn't hear the conversation, but it was most likely in regards to Dominic wanting Karrion Kross in the Judgment Day. Kross has been a popular fan guest to be the new Judgment Day member. This Raw segment at least confirms that Dominic has been looking into bringing in Kross. It still feels like the next major Judgment Day moment will be the group kicking Finn out in favor of this new recruit that Dominic is bringing in. They continue to tease it heavily, so have to be on the lookout for that. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.
Alexa, over there, go to bed. I'm back, guys. Sorry. I was in the bathroom. Oh, you guys didn't leave. Thank you, guys.
The story with Jade Cargill just made some big progression on SmackDown and social media.
Over there.
We'll see what's new there.
Beha.
We'll also check out what's going on with Bianca Belair, Naomi, and more. Starting things off with the latest developments in Jade Cargill and Naomi's storyline.
Ow.
Because once again, more new questions are popping up. The March 21st edition of SmackDown featured a big singles match between Liv Morgan and Jade Cargill. It was Jade's first match since before the attack in November, and her fifth overall singles match in WWE. Jade was looking great and doing very well until Naomi appeared in ringside to cause some outside interference and distractions for Jade Cargill. Naomi picked up the tag team title and hit Jade over the face with it. It's most definitely
Thank you guys for supporting me.
but it's also a bit symbolic as well, because that title technically belonged to Jade Cargill, and she was never actually pinned to actually lose it. But it was because of Naomi that Jade was forced to vacate it.
Oh, we going. Thank you guys. 3 more subs.
Wide open for Liv Morgan to capitalize and pin Jade for the win. This was a huge moment because this right here.
You are the
Jade
best
Cargill's
YouTubers,
first
subscribers.
ever pinfall loss of her WWE career. No woman had ever pinned Jade in the middle of a WWE ring. But Liv Morgan will now go down in the history books as the first superstar to pin.
Yo, I'm about to cry. I'm about to cry. If I hit above 400, I'm gonna cry.
At all. You had lots of several outside interferences and attacks from Naomi. Plus, Liv Morgan was arguably being one of the most successful superstars over the last calendar year. So no shame in this loss.
We can do this.
The loss was also nice for the story because it showed vulnerability for Jade Cargill. Everyone looks at Jade Cargill and assumes she's unstoppable and can't be had, and very understandably so. Her physique, her presentation, it all just screams
I have no physique.
unbeatable and undeniable, no doubt about it. But this interference pinfall loss shows that Jade Cargill is human after all and cannot overcome everything. Jade losing in that fashion all brings up some momentum back to Naomi's side of things. Naomi has spent the last few weeks getting absolutely mopped on the floor by Jade Cargill. But now the pendulum is swinging back in Naomi's direction again after costing Jade Cargill the match.
Need 3 more subscribers to 400.
Naomi and Jade
Then we are road to 500.
attack moment during this post-match attack.
Do you think I can hit to 1,000 subs by April 7th? I don't think so.
And onto the
If I do, I have a heart attack.
The commentators mentioned it almost instantly, so it was not that much of a hidden secret. But the moment was obviously meant to mirror what happened in the backstage attack, showing exactly how it went down back in November. Naomi literally did the same exact thing to try and knock Jade Cargill out for the second time. Another interesting pointer about this segment is that while Naomi was beating down Jade Cargill in the ring, the live Italy crowd was chanting EST for Bianca Belair. But Bianca Belair never showed up at all to impact the segment. In reality, we know why Bianca Belair never showed up. It's because she obviously has her hands full with the Io and Rhea program on Raw. And that's Bianca's main story right now. So that's where her appearances are happening at. But in the world of strictly WWE television, it's a bad look for Bianca's character not to show up in this segment to at least try helping Jade Cargill. Because truly, Bianca Belair is a SmackDown superstar after all. She was at the heart of this Jade and Naomi storyline from the very beginning. She was obviously devastated to find out what really happened back in November. So now Naomi pulls off a similar attack on Jade Cargill post-match, and Bianca Belair is nowhere to be seen and just sits back to watch it happen again. You would think that this moment is where Bianca can come out and be like, this isn't happening again. We understand they obviously want to keep the two stories separate between Bianca's world title program and Jade versus Naomi. But it just feels really strange for Bianca's character to sit back, kick her legs up, and watch Jade Cargill get attacked by Naomi again. It feels out of character for Bianca Belair not to show up, at least to try to help in some fashion. If Bianca comes out and Jade sort of dismisses her help and shoves her away, that's understandable. It's a nice little way to write Bianca out of the story.
But Bianca was never truly written out of the Jade and Naomi issue. So that's why even the live crowd was chanting and expecting for Bianca Belair to come out and help, because it just felt right within that moment. So if you're Jade Cargill and you were already on the fence about your feelings towards Bianca Belair, but now you're getting attacked again and Bianca is nowhere to be found, wouldn't that make you wonder if Bianca even cared about you at all? And that's probably still the most confusing part of this storyline. We don't have a clear answer about how Jade Cargill feels about Bianca Belair. Does she hold no grudge against Bianca and believes she's innocent? Does Jade Cargill have some underlying issue there with Bianca Belair? We have no idea, because Jade's feelings towards Bianca Belair was basically skipped over in this story following her return. But Jade Cargill did attempt to tie up those loose ends to the story on her Twitter. A fan straight up told Jade Cargill that they were waiting for her to say something and address Bianca Belair because we're all confused on where they stand at this moment. And Jade Cargill did respond to the fan asking about Bianca Belair, and Jade said that she never trusted Bianca Belair and how she was always closer with Naomi over Bianca Belair. So it seems like the hidden message of what Jade is saying there is that she was extremely close friends with Naomi more than anyone else. And look at what that got her and what Naomi did. So if her best and close friends Naomi would do something like that to her, then Jade most definitely isn't trusting Bianca Belair, who she considers to be more of a distant friend. So it was a nice little piece of information for that story, even on social media. That post from Jade Cargill confirms what everyone pretty much was already believing, that Jade is not sure if Bianca's guilty. She doesn't have enough intel to really say for sure that Bianca was in on everything with Naomi. But regardless, Jade is looking side-eyed at Bianca Belair, doesn't trust her one bit, and wants nothing to do with being by her side anymore. So Jade versus Naomi is continuing to be great. The main awkwardness in this story at the moment is that it just feels like Bianca should still have some sort of role in the story, or was she just removed too prematurely? That's what it feels like, because Bianca and Jade's relationship was left on a cliffhanger. And who knows, maybe they left it like that by design so that you can revisit it later on. But that's the main missing piece for this story right now. Bianca cried, screamed, and yelled about how much Naomi and Jade meant to her, but they're brutally beating each other down, and now Bianca doesn't care anymore? Everything that's happening just puts Bianca Belair's character in a pretty shady spot. But again, we get it. It's not like Bianca's backstage twiddling her thumbs. She has her hands extremely full with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley at the moment. So maybe it's hard for her to find the time to step in between Naomi and Jade. And telling by Jade's strays at Bianca Belair, she doesn't want her there getting in the way anyway, so she's not complaining. Jade did go on to respond to several fans online, fans that were both on her side and fans that were against her. One fan told Jade that she owed Liv and Raquel for not coming out about who attacked her sooner than she did. Jade fired back and said she didn't owe a single thing to Liv and Raquel because she wasn't the one who accused them. Jade Cargill also revealed that she kept quiet for so long because she was hurt, betrayed, and in disbelief. She was trying to get her mental state clear before coming back and returning with a reveal. Bianca Belair even responded to Jade Cargill, taking a jab at Jade for looking like a chalk outline. And Jade Cargill responded by calling out Bianca for abandoning the situation between Naomi and herself on SmackDown. So all these posts from Jade Cargill were absolutely amazing. It was like adding extra pieces to the story that we haven't heard or seen yet on SmackDown. So it was greatly appreciated and a nice little touch to the story. We know Jade versus Naomi is coming up, but even still, there's so many open threads with this story. Did Naomi have help? Who is the witness? Where does Bianca and Jade go from here? So many unanswered questions, and hopefully we get more answers soon. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.
Let's see.
Things just went to another level between Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also take a look at what's new for Naomi, John Cena, and more. Starting things off with the latest for Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton. It's been known for a long time that Charlotte versus Tiffany was the plan for WrestleMania 41, but over the last few weeks, fans have been waiting for that big segment that really sells this WrestleMania match in a major way. You had a couple of post-match attacks. You had big brawls between the both of them all over the arena. But it looks like they finally struck gold with a segment that really got fans invested in the feud. And this was the segment that was aired on the March 21st edition of SmackDown. On this episode of SmackDown, Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair sat down for a joint interview. The interview featured a lot of personal jabs being thrown at each other. Charlotte Flair revealed that she only selected to face Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania 41 because she felt sorry for her. Tiffany noted that Charlotte Flair switched up on her because Charlotte was originally a big supporter of Tiffany in the past, but how that all changed when Charlotte returned several months ago. Charlotte explained that change in attitude being due to the fact that this is a world title match at WrestleMania. So she is going to crank up the intensity and be aggressive towards Tiffany Stratton, regardless of what their past was. Tiffany jabbed Charlotte Flair for always bringing water to whatever is hot in pro wrestling. And Charlotte said that Tiffany Stratton might not even have a job in the company by the time she's her age. So on paper, they had a nice couple of big verbal jabs at each other. But on video, seeing this interview, it seemed like a one-sided beatdown with Charlotte Flair definitely owning the interview for the most part. That's what made this segment really take off in the community. Fans were discussing how Charlotte Flair was not playing around in this segment and verbally slaughtered Tiffany Stratton in this interview. Charlotte was cutting Tiffany off nonstop, delivering big blows and weakening the impact of Tiffany's jabs because Charlotte was forcing Tiffany to say lines over again multiple times since she was cutting Tiffany off so much. And once Tiffany was stumbling and saying these lines multiple times, it really put Charlotte in this position of power and position of being the alpha in the segment. And that was part of the fan debate with this segment, was that Charlotte Flair being a great heel and absolutely schooling Tiffany Stratton in that segment straight up, or was that Charlotte Flair stepping a bit too far over the line in an unfair way that wasn't leaving Tiffany any room at all to say her piece? That was the real conversation amongst the fans after that segment finished airing. Some fans were even comparing this exchange to John Cena and Roman Reigns' 2017 battle of words, which saw the veteran John Cena verbally rip apart the young star Roman Reigns. And now seeing what Roman has morphed into, a lot of fans look back at that old verbal slaughter from John Cena as a blessing because that was the wake-up call Roman needed to really lock in. So a lot of fans are saying that same sort of thing here for Tiffany and Charlotte. That Charlotte did destroy Tiffany in this segment right there, but hopefully it's a blessing in disguise because it'll also be a wake-up call for Tiffany Stratton to lock in as well. If Charlotte is going to play it like that, you got to match that same energy or even surpass it. So fans want to see more fire from Tiffany Stratton. The buzz in the community definitely seemed to be alive for this WrestleMania match after this interview segment concluded. A lot of fans were saying that this interview really got them to care about this WrestleMania match because now there's a level of intrigue there. You got this narrative coming from this segment of naysayers saying that Charlotte Flair is still the cream of the crop and just exposed why it's way too early in her career for Tiffany Stratton to be champion. But at the same time, this also creates a narrative opportunity for Tiffany Stratton to prove those naysayers wrong, have an epic match, raise the intensity levels of her character, and pin Charlotte at WrestleMania to prove to herself and everyone else that she does belong here and that her time is now. So it might have been a one-sided beatdown in the interview, but a lot of fans claimed that this was the segment that looking at things without directly saying it. It's all ambiguous. It's all up for your own interpretation, but a lot of fans are understanding Cena posting his old album cover as Cena potentially hinting at one of the songs in that album serving as his new heel theme song. Cena did say on Raw that he's not changing anything, but fans still feel like that could be what Cena is hinting at there on his Instagram page. Naomi and Jade Cargill obviously can't stand each other right now and want to tear each other apart every time they see each other on television. But Naomi and Jade are going the extra mile of stirring the pot and deepening their feud through social media. Mia Yim recently put together a TikTok challenge video backstage at SmackDown with all of the brand's biggest superstars, even including Jade Cargill. That's when one fan questioned why Naomi wasn't a part of the challenge video, and Mia Yim revealed that Naomi specifically refused to be a part of the video since Jade Cargill was also in the video. And it didn't stop there. Jade Cargill posted a new series of photos onto her Instagram page, and Naomi did take the time to leave Jade a comment on her new post. Naomi said that she hopes to see Jade Cargill crossing the street while Naomi herself is waiting at a red light in a Hummer. So everyone is appreciating the great levels of details and length that Naomi and Jade Cargill are going through just to keep the story going off television. So it's nice to see Naomi and Jade Cargill pretty much at each other's necks every second on social media because it's entertaining for the fans and definitely adds more special sparks to their already intense storyline. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.
Enjoy. Or get smacked.
Within 20 days after the defendant's arraignment on indictment, which occurred on December 23rd, 2024, 88 days as of the date of this writing. The defense has still not got the names, identities, and statements from potential witnesses 3 months after Mangioni's New York State indictment. Now, by law, it's supposed to be they get that 20 days later. Well, it's now over 90 days later. Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up. Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup. A major new bombshell, if you ask me. Court filing in the case of Luigi Mangioni, the alleged shooter of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. This in the case of the state of New York against Mangioni. We have the state of New York against Mangioni. We have the federal government against Mangioni and the state of Pennsylvania. This one is in the state of New York. Among many things, in, I believe, a pretty explosive court filing, Mangioni's defense attorneys in New York, led by Karen Agnifilo-Friedman, they are alleging that the prosecution, that would be District Attorney of New York, Alvin Bragg, infamously prosecuted Trump over Stormy Daniels and all that. Mangioni's defense is alleging that Alvin Bragg and the state of New York is deliberately withholding evidence from Mangioni's defense for as long as 3 months, that they are violating Mangioni's constitutional rights, that the defense is, quote, missing essential records, that the defense has not obtained access to Mangioni's electronic devices, for which the prosecution claims there's alleged evidence against him, that the prosecution is leaking evidence to the media before handing it over to the defense. The prosecution in criminal proceedings is supposed to provide evidence through the discovery process to the defense, so any defendant has a chance to review and defend themselves. They are also, Mangioni's attorneys, alleging that the prosecution is withholding evidence linked to the terrorism charges, those controversial terrorism charges against Mangioni. And finally, that they are denying Mangioni himself the ability to review evidence against him by denying him a secure laptop where he could review the evidence in the Metropolitan Detention Center where he's at. This is a 12-page court filing. Not going to read the whole thing, but I will read quite a bit of it. The link to this court filing we will put in the description right under this video if you want to read along. But this was filed on Friday, and you know, I'm not a lawyer, but it sure seems like there's a lot of fishy things going on here. And Mangioni's lead attorney is a pretty well-known attorney in New York. So I'm pretty confident that what she's writing has some meat on the bone here. This is again filed by Karen Friedman Agnifilo. She is alleging to the court, she is asking the court to require the district attorney's office, that would be Alvin Bragg, to provide defense counsel and the defendant, Mangioni, with the full discovery in their possession. This is, I mean, we're talking well over 3 months after the indictment in New York. Precluding the district attorney's office from filing a late request for a protective order for the remaining discovery. We'll get to that in a bit. Granting permission for Mr. Mangioni to use a laptop while in federal custody to facilitate his review of discovery once it is provided. Extending the current motion schedule to allow defense counsel, Mangioni's attorney, and the defendant necessary time to obtain and review the voluminous discovery once it is received from the district attorney's office, and granting such other reliefs as the court deems appropriate. So now we're going to get into the nitty gritty here. This is discovery update and demand for discovery. As the court is well aware, CPL 245.20 pointedly titled Automatic
Guys, I'll be
Discovery
back
states
later.
that,
Thanks for
quote, the
joining us.
prosecution shall
Bye.
disclose to the defendant and permit the defendant to discover, inspect, copy, photograph, and test